Welcome back to Anna's Advocacy Corner with your host, Anna. Today, I have somebody very special to me. It's my big brother, Jose Jimenez.
Hello, everybody.
I brought him on because he's been going through a lot in his life, and I feel like this would be a great story for people to hear and relate to, and just be able to see the process of somebody becoming the greatest that they can be. So, like I said, this is my brother. So we've known each other for such a long time. And he has been dealing with alcoholism in his life. And that's kind of what we wanted to touch on here and talk about your process and how you're dealing with this and how you're going through it and where it started.
It all started when I was about 18, 19. That's when I started kind of sneaking drinks from my dad's cabinet, hanging out with friends. We would just have people buy it for us, and we would just be drinking beers, hanging out, smoking weed. And it kind of just started to occur more and more, kind of like throughout the years, throughout the months. I would want to do it more often. Even without my friends, without like my family hanging out. So once I turned 21, I got a job working solar. A year after high school, I started working with this solar guy. Now we would go out, and then on the way home, he would buy us all, beers, head back to his place, have a couple of beers. I'm 19, and now I'm 20. We're still doing the same thing, but now at 20, this time we're going to like week-long work trips, mainly over in like Murrieta, San Diego, Bakersfield, places far away from home where I have to stay a week at a time. Because remember, at this time I'm in Adelanto, so any of those places is about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from home. We got to stay there for a week. So Monday through Friday, this guy's buying bottles and boxes of alcohol. And that's mainly where the beginning of my downfall started, was getting hooked on it in that little 2-year time period, was with solar. Because I like doing it so much that once I turned 21, now I can just go to the liquor store and buy it myself. And I was working with my best friend as well, and he turned 21, so we would go and get our own stuff. We were getting paid too, so I wouldn't have to ask my boss. He was drinking whatever he liked, and we would go buy whatever we liked. I ended up quitting that job because that job got so bad for my boss that I would watch him go to the liquor store or wherever we were near, the Walmart, Stater Brothers, whatever it was, and he would go to the store already out of his mind, drunk, and he would be driving back to the motel, driving back to the motel in his work truck, and then going in there and cracking up a bunch more bottles, cans, whatever it was. And me and my buddy were sitting there just drinking cans, having our own little good time. And he was sitting there in that motel chair by himself with those little plastic cups that the motel gives you for the coffee or whatever, and he would just be sitting there by himself, and once the cup ends, filling up the cup, he would pour that down. So I'm kind of chill at this time because I'm only like maybe 3 or 4 years into drinking, maybe 3, but I'm watching like a person who's been drinking for over a decade, how bad it is. Because he's just pouring cup after cup after cup. And eventually he's like, forget the cup, I'm just going to drink it straight from the bottle. And I was like, oh man. So this guy's losing thousands of dollars buying alcohol. He is buying ladies of the night. He has a wife, 3 beautiful kids, a beautiful 2-story house, all these like work cars and personal vehicles as well. Work trucks, personal vehicles. And he's kind of like losing one thing at a time. He's losing his mind already. He got a DUI, lost teeth, falling down his stairs. Kids didn't respect him anymore. Wife wants to divorce him because of the car thing. And so that pretty much showed me like how bad it could get. You could pretty much gain it all, have a beautiful life, an amazing career, and then just lose it all because of alcohol. And I was like, dang, that's like the low of the lows. Shortly after that, I get a job, a real job, over at Geek Squad. Started working for Geek Squad. I was making a lot more money installing home theater and home security systems like cameras and whatnot, Ring doorbells, all kinds of stuff. So I'm working for a few years. I'm making some pretty good money. She gets pregnant with our first boy, with a boy. We only have one boy. So we have the baby. Pay raises are going up. Life is going pretty good over there. I definitely slowed down on the drinking because now I'm in people's houses. I got to knock on your door and I'm not going to be like, "Good morning, how you doing today? I'm here to install whatever we got going on," you know? So I can't just be all loopy like that. I did do that job for a good couple of years. And so now I'm thinking, like, because I'm only drinking at home. Trust myself only to drink at home. But I feel like drinking at home, I'm like, I think I got pretty good at this to where I can just drink wherever I want. So then now I start drinking around town, around like social gatherings, more than occasionally. Now it starts to become like once a day instead of Fridays and Saturdays. Like my dad always told me to do. It's just like Fridays, you're home, Saturdays, you're home, Sundays, kind of just take it easy, sober up, Mondays, you're good to go, Monday through Friday.
And mind you, my dad is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And it's not till he's in his later years now, he's 70, that he started being like, okay, just the weekends, you know? And before it was like all the time.
It was
like,
all the time.
It was constantly.
During the week, he would have the buddies come.
His friends would come and we would be up late. We still had school, we still had things to do, church on Sunday, things like that. And they would be partying all night. We'd be swimming. All their kids would be over and we'd be running around acting crazy, you know? So it's not something new for us to see drinking, you know, like that and stuff like that and have it so prevalent in our lives. So, I mean, I can imagine when you were started drinking, it didn't seem like it was going to become a bigger issue.
Yeah, I felt like I was home and we had pretty much since we were, you know, kids, the party house. We had a pool, we had barbecues, we had a beautiful backyard with a giant garden, we had beautiful grass, you know, we had pool table, like all of the cool stuff. We had video games, people like cousins, family members, everybody, even neighbors would just come over and hang out with us during the weekend mostly. Sometimes during the weekend, just party it up. All doors were open to pretty much anybody that wanted to walk in and say like, hey, let's have a cookout, you know? So that's why I was kind of getting into the party vibe constantly. And then especially when I moved to the apartment in Anaheim, I was like, I'm home, you know, I'm fine. I can drink over here, drink over there, why not, over here? So that would be mostly at night. But then when I wake up, that's when the grogginess started. I gotta like shake it off, have a coffee or an energy drink, and then drive straight to work.
And so you were actively starting to drink more, like being at work. And then you were doing Geek Squad at that time. So you were going into people's houses and you were drinking.
Yes.
And then did you ever like have any issues like having to deal with that inside of people's homes?
Well, the only issues I've ever had were because when you do it all the time around people, you kind of just start to try to get used to it and just try to like be aware around social gatherings and especially in other people's houses who most obviously 99% of them aren't drinking, you know, maybe they're smoking weed, maybe they're smoking cigarettes, the house stinks or whatever, you know, of they're already drinking, they're already smoking or whatever. So I'm like, oh, cool, this is great. I could just install whatever and then get out of here. They're not going to smell what I smell like, you know. But the people that I were working really close to, my coworkers, I was working within like a few inches from them, installing brackets on the wall, installing cameras, and some of them would be like, dang, you were drinking heavy last night, huh? I can smell the gin. I was like, I don't drink gin. So I can smell all the other stuff, but and they're like, dang, whatever it is, man, you take a shower this morning? I was like, yeah. He's like, I guess you're just sweating it out then, whatever. So
But you were actively drinking?
Oh yeah, so once I felt like I can start, you know, I would just like take one in the morning and then just start my day, just to like kind of alleviate the hangover or whatever. Then I was like, maybe I can go back to the parking lot at the store, because I would have my own personal vehicle. Maybe I can go back over there to the
liquor store?
no, not yet, the parking lot, and get into my car, and then have my lunch. Like, this is where I keep my lunch, and then have another shot or two in the car, lock the car up, get back in my work car, and then good to go. And so it got even worse from there, to where I started just hiding it in like my backpack or whatever. Like, I would bring my lunch with me, and then it would be in there. That way I wouldn't have to, because sometimes I would be far, like in another city or something, like local cities, and I would just keep it in my backpack, and then duck down low. Or then I started putting it in a water bottle, and I was like, I can't just keep a whole freaking bottle in my little half pint, little pint. So I started putting it in like a Gatorade bottle, and then I was like, well, what if my coworker like asks for a drink, because I put it in a cooler and pops it open and it's in an ice, just and I'm like starting to think like, I need to get clever with this. And now I'm thinking like to myself, I know the entire time this is bad, but it's starting to kick in to where I'm starting to think like, oh man, I know it's bad, but something's wrong here. And so when I ran out of the bottle, let's say, because I'm going from breakfast to lunch, I finished a little half pint. And I'm like, dang, I gotta go get another one. I gotta go take my lunch like at a gas station near a liquor store. And then so I go over there, boop, 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 because they have a tracker on the car. And they have a tracker on my phone as well, because now I have a work phone. Well, I started with a work phone. So they're tracking two things at once, just trying to make sure like where I'm at. Don't park near a school, don't park like in front of a liquor store. Everything seems suspicious. You're just a Geek Squad person. Have lunch in front of the person's house if you need to, or at a gas station or a supermarket. Like, have some common sense about it. So I park at a gas station, go to the liquor store. Now lunch starts and I'm on my second bottle. So I'm on 2 bottles. This is like now a couple years into Geek Squad. I am doing 2 bottles, breakfast, lunch, go back home, and then on my way home, I gotta stop at the liquor store because I finished that one. So now I'm on the 3rd bottle of the day, and I get home, and I hear, "Are you drunk right now?" And I'm like, "Are you drunk right now?" From my ex. And so I just try to play it off like, "No, I'm not." And she's like, "Okay, well, make dinner or whatever, because I'm hungry," because she's pregnant at this time. At this time, like, I think we already had our first boy. So now I'm thinking to myself, like, I gotta slow down just a little bit. I gotta start like I gotta kind of get my mind right just a little bit, because now this is my coworkers are asking me more often. I gotta go into attics and run wires, and it's hot in there. Now I'm sweating it out, and it's like the middle of July. Every summer I start sweating it out. Now, I would want to say year 4 at Geek Squad, she gets pregnant again with our daughter. And now it really starts to slow down. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. Pregnant again. I gotta like really chill out. So we have our daughter. Year 5 rolls around. I'm like, baby's out. I can kind of like ramp it back up a little bit. I don't know why I kept thinking like that. Like, she's pregnant. I gotta, get it right. And then the baby comes out. And then I'm like, well, this entire time, I'm also, okay, I skipped over one job. When I started Geek Squad, I started driving for Uber. This entire time, I'm drunk driving. Starting morning, 8 o'clock. And I'm on 3rd bottle on my way home. And then now I come home, I cook dinner, I feed the family, because we're also staying with her mom and her mom's girlfriend. And so we've got 5 people in the house. Wait, 2, yeah, 5. So I'm making dinner for everybody, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take a shower. I gotta head out to go do Uber, and I do Uber at night. At Uber at night, I like listen to music or listen to scary stories or something. So now I'm like, okay, I already have the third one sitting in my car. I'm just gonna sip on that throughout the night. And so maybe like, let's say I start at 6 and I don't come back home till maybe 12 to 2 in the morning, because sometimes I'll end up in like Malibu, sometimes I'll end up in San Diego, because like for that many hours I'm driving all around. I'm like, I'm not gonna stop. Maybe I'll grab something to eat, but I'm not gonna stop driving until I make enough money, or until like it's way too late, because then I got to get a couple hours of sleep to start work in the morning again. So it's pretty much 3 bottles a day at this time, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I start it all over again. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, every day of the week.
And then how long were you drinking like that?
Like that, about probably about 3 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
And then your girl at the time, she started realizing that you were drinking more.
Oh yeah.
She was saying things.
She knew, like she started catching on, because the bottle sizes went from a half pint of vodka, you know, like I would come home smelling like that, even when it started with just one, because I was doing it like during work, and I didn't want to. At this time I switched it, so I would do it at work around people. Obviously it should have been, it was totally backwards. And on my way home I would drink one. So that's how I started, was I would do my job, then drink it on home. That way she wouldn't have to see me drinking a bottle of vodka, like a half pint. I started with a half pint at home or around the baby, because it started when we had the baby. Well, this is my son, my first son. And then it went from that to, there was a little marqueta and carne asada next to the liquor stores. And then I stopped by the liquor store, market, and then back home. So I would have the little half pint, and now I'm drinking like one on the way home, and then I'm making an excuse to go get another one at the store. Do we need groceries or whatever? And then drink one at home. And I knew it became a problem, and she knew it became a problem, was when I started hiding it from her. Because any normal person would just have it up in a cupboard, come home, take a shot, have a little, like, you know, a little chill out when you get home, or just go buy a 6-pack and drink maybe 1 or 2 beers when you get home from work, save the 6-pack throughout the week. You know, I did do that sometimes, but I would just crave that little half pint, you know, every now and then. So then I started stopping by the liquor store in the morning, and I wasn't proud of it, but I thought it was pretty cool. I'm trying to separate the two. Being proud of it, and thought it was pretty cool when you would walk into your local liquor store, they're like, hey, here you go, and they would turn around and give you exactly what you want. And then you know exactly how much it costs. And so it was just like, hey, how you doing? Good morning, here's your stuff, and then I would take off. And I would wear big sweaters over my work shirt, so that because I would have to go like in a buttoned up shirt to work. And I would wear a sweater to hide the collar, because I don't know, for some reason I felt like I knew I was doing something wrong. I just didn't want the local liquor store to know, like, oh, he's going to work. You know, this guy's a piece of shit. So, you know, this guy's a mess. So that's where I would start. I would get one in the morning, started off with the half pint, and then a half pint at lunch, and then come home, half pint, and then after a while I started to feel like that wasn't enough. Like that breakfast to lunch half pint wasn't nothing. So I would start with a pint for breakfast and lunch, and then keep that same buzz going from lunch to dinner time until I got home. And then it just became a pint of vodka, and then for dinner, another pint, like while I go drive for Uber. So it would be 3 pints of vodka a day. It became that for about 2 or 3 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
Because I kind of know your story a little bit, because I'm your sister. And I know, like, major things started happening that, like, because I mean, mind you, at this time, I was building my own little family and I was in a totally different city and everything. But then I started hearing he got into a car accident. He went to the wrong school to pick up his kids. You know, like, when did that drastic change like that start happening?
So that happened towards like the end of the 4th year of working with Geek Squad. I was trying to grow a family, that I was trying to, you know, still try to work hard, but this thing on the side was holding me back from a lot of that, from like growing my family, growing my career and my life in a more positive way. I was doing all of this, but it was making everything feel negative. Like everything was starting to like snowball down. You know, everything was going okay until like I was supposed to install a faucet in our bathroom sink. My son is 4, my daughter's 2. And I'm working on it, and I'm supposed to pick up my son because she has the baby. Baby's not in daycare yet, so she takes the baby to work with her. I am supposed to pick up my son from daycare early. He gets out early. So I'm installing the sink, and I get a phone call from her, and she's like, the school just called me. Where are you? I was like, oh shoot, I lost track of time. I'm gonna go get him right now. So when I get to the school, there are 2 schools that look exactly identical. Exactly. One says middle school, one says elementary, and I thought I knew like the right parking lot to get into. So I go to the door and I ask the staff in the front. I was like, hey, I'm here to pick up my son. And they're like, what's his name? Elias. We don't have an Elias over here. Are you sure you're at the right school? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm at the right school. Okay. Well, never mind. And they're like, okay. So they were like, that seems very suspicious. And so they called the mom. She called me as soon as I got to my car, and she started cussing me out. She's saying, go get him right now. And so I got him, signed him out, and she said, don't even leave the parking lot. I'm going to wait for you in the parking lot. Gave him to her. She said, I'm going to go to my friend's house. I want you to go get your stuff and get out. So that's what I did. So that's the first time I started living in my car, was right after that.
Yeah, and I remember he would call me, and he had a gym membership, and he would be going and showering and going to the gym, and he would be eating cans of soup all the time. And I remember him, you know, sharing with me about...
At this time, I was also still working for Geek Squad. So there was about 6 months where it got worse, because now I was doing it in my car alone and sad. And I was, it's my depression kind of started to ramp up, and it was already bad because I felt like I wasn't as loved from her, and she was also seeing a coworker too. If things don't get better, it's only going to get better between her and him.
So you were living in your car, and then you had your accident?
I was living in my car for 3 months, like couch hopping, like going in and out of like my car, staying at the gym, taking showers at the gym. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It was 6 months because I got a different job. It was about 6 months until we got the mediation to see what we're going to do with the kids. So we were supposed to go to Santa Ana Courthouse. We had a date, I think it was October 18th. October 17th, I just wanted to have like a little bit of fun one more time. And I went to a restaurant, I drank there, I ate some pretty good food. I was gonna go to the gym, sweat it out, work out, and take a shower, take a nap, wait for the morning. On the way to the gym, and which was 2 minutes away, a couple blocks away, I started to doze off because I was sleepy. And I hit the guardrail on the exit ramp of the freeway, and obviously that woke me up. Airbags didn't deploy, seatbelt didn't tighten. I thought I broke 2 ribs. It definitely looked like it because I had like bruises on my left side. My eye and cheek was bruised from the steering wheel, and the whole front left of my car was punched in towards the motor. And so I freak out. I start saying like, no, 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 like this can't happen right now. I'm dreaming. I'm at the gym. I think I'm at the gym. I'm not at the gym, am I? And so my car starts smoking, and it hits it so hard that it just pushes it like around the guardrail, and I stop at the red light. And so I start panicking. I sober up immediately, and I've been drinking all night. And so I called the police, and I told them I just got into a car crash. I've been drunk driving, and I just figured I'd give you guys a call and get you off the road over here and take care of me. You know, like handle the business with me. So they get there, just one squad vehicle, and so they look at me and they're like, "Oh, you messed up pretty good, huh?" So, and they were like, "If there's any damages on the guardrail, you got to pay for that too." And there's nothing. Those things are freaking steel beams. It didn't go through anything. So it just jacked up my car. And so he pushes me out of the way and onto like the side of the road so the tow truck can get me. And so about 30 minutes later, Mom and Tewa get there. And I've been telling them the entire time, like my whole issue, and they're giving me like the field sobriety test, trying to see like how jacked up I am. I do the breathalyzer test. I think it was like a 1.88. That's a lot.
And mind you, the next day was his court hearing.
Yeah, the very next morning was my
talk
court
about
hearing.
what they were going to do with his children and stuff like that. And he ended up, my mom and my sister took him to that the next day.
Yeah, they took me there the next day. I think the cops felt so bad for me that they just, what do you call it? Like when they take your information, they take your fingerprints, they take your picture, but what do they call it? Like they book me or whatever, but I'm not like in jail, you know? So they're like, I think you made the right choice. You know, you messed up. You called the right people to come and get you. They're gonna take you home. So I went from Santa Ana all the way to Hemet to go to my mom's place. We go all the way back the next morning, and I have an appointment in the morning with the mediators and the judge.
And then they took a lot of custody from you from your babies.
Yes. So it was supposed to be $1,000 for child support, and she asked the judge to kind of like go easy on me, like obviously like I'm about to lose my job. I lost my car. I have to find a new job to pay for a new car to get all of this. So she was like, it was from $1,000, and the judge was like, all right, but he still needs to take care of these kids and pay for your bills and all this stuff for the kids. So I went from $1,000 to $700, and I got Saturdays only visitation.
Saturdays only.
Yeah. So right after that, I went to Mom's place. They stayed there. We went back to Mom's place, and I healed it took me a while to heal, but 2 days later, because I had a concussion, I didn't even go to the hospital or anything for that. I should have. So we went 2 days later to go get
a car.
I got a new car from the dealership, and because I got 2 checks from Geek Squad because I resigned. I went to Mom's house. Oh, with these 2 checks, I was like, I got paid. I got a few $1,000s. So I started drinking with those few $1,000s. I kept going to the gym and doing all that stuff. And so now that I have the few $1,000s, I didn't even tell the dealership that I had money for a down payment. So we got a credit card as a down payment, and I got the car because I was like, clearly I can't live with you, Mom. I can't live with Tewe. Can't live with Juana anymore. I'm just naming off sisters. These are our sisters. And I've stayed with a bunch of these people. So the next best thing is like just to start staying with friends again. You know, just couch hopping and sleeping in the car. And now we were shopping for something that I can actually sleep in because...
And this was it was a big truck, but it kind of sucked because my mom was a co-signer of this card that he put down on this. And when he stopped doing well with work, it kind of fell onto my mom. So not only did that suck for my mom because it was destroying her credit and destroying her finances, he couldn't help. So I can imagine that burden put more on you. And And so let's fast forward a little bit to when you started working at FedEx.
FedEx.
Because that's when you had your other accident, right?
No, there was no accident with it.
On the scooter?
Well, I was with FedEx for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I got a new girlfriend, I would say about 3 months into FedEx. I met someone working over there. And so we were talking, hanging out. I was still going to friends' house because I didn't want her to know, like, I live in my car. And then she kind of picked up on it. So I just told her that I have a bunch of stuff in storage. So I go get the stuff and I move in. And so we stayed together for 3 years. Now, in these 3 years, I lose this car because I can't afford it with FedEx. I have child support, a few of my other bills. I'm helping her with bills. So like I either need another job again, a second job. I'm also drinking, so part of my paycheck is going there. So now she's taking me to work. I'm taking the bus to work, and still, again, I'm driving a FedEx truck, a home delivery truck. Drinking a lot less because now I'm running around and I'm exhausted. I'm sweating all the time, so the drinking does go down. And eventually, we get an electric scooter for me, and then I'm using that to go. It's a straight shot, one straight road to work. So that's what I've been doing. One day, we wanted to have a couple of beers. So on the way back, I kind of had to make some weird turns just to get back home, and I see a taco truck. This is kind of just what I remember. And I'm like, excuse me guys, excuse me. And I'm trying to fit between some people, so they back up towards the building. They spread the sidewalk open. As they do that, there is no parking here sign, the metal ones with the holes in them. I hit that with my handlebar, and I scrape up all of this side of my eye, and my nose gets busted open because I think I hit the pole. And bone is showing, all white meat right here, and my hand got all jacked up, sprained my pinky because it hit the pole, and then this side of my arm got all scraped up because that hit the ground. And now people just at the taco truck just watch this, they spread open and then boom, hit the pole, which probably looked funny to them, but I was in pain. I hit my head pretty hard on the floor, so that's my second concussion ever.
And then you were saying at the time, he was worried about that bill. They wanted to take him in the ambulance.
They took me in an ambulance to Whittier Hospital.
And they wanted to put stitches on him, and he told them no. Mm-hmm. So he decided not to get the help that he probably could have needed, and he decided to go home because he didn't want to pay for that bill. And at this time, his girlfriend was letting us know.
She went to go get me, yeah.
She went to go pick him up, and she called us and told us what happened. And you were drunk driving at that time? You were drunk driving your motor scooter?
Drunk riding.
Drunk riding?
Yeah. So even PD put my scooter in the back of their squad car, and I had to go get it a day or two later because I was just not feeling good. Mm-hmm. I am not working for 2 weeks because I have a concussion, and I told them. So that's 2 paychecks that I missed out on. I go back to work, and I'm working for about another 3 months, and now I'm drinking again, riding home from work this time. I've got my work backpack on, so everything's heavier. I got lunch in there, bottles of water. I have a sweater on, and I'm riding. And there's this giant crack in the sidewalk that I always go around or try to hop over, just be a little fancy with it. And I don't even hop. My feet come off my scooter, and the scooter wheel hits that thing, and I know what's going on. And when I hit the floor again, my earbuds pop out of my ear. So now I'm hearing traffic instead of music or a podcast or whatever I'm listening to. And I'm now I'm aware. I hit myself hard this time, twice as hard. So now I have a third concussion of my life. I get up and I'm no, it's happening all over again. No. So I start looking for my stuff, and I feel stinging, I'm jacked up. This is where dogs pee. It hurt. And I get up and I'm oh no. And so I find my stuff. I don't even put my earbuds back in. I put them away. Grab my scooter, make sure it's fine, and I'm like, oh, I get my phone, and I look at my face, and I'm same thing. I'm all just rashed up right here. Took my eyebrow off this time. My eye is busted right here, kind of like busted open. I walk home. I'm like, forget riding the scooter. I can't keep my balance right now. Everything's like ring-dinged, like my ears messed up. My vision, my lower left eye vision is like blurry now. And it's kind of like twisted this way, so I'm kind of cockeyed, I feel like. And so I walk home.
And he was trying not to let her see for a while.
It was dark by this time. It was sundown when I got hurt, and it was dark by the time she got home because she visited her brother I think she visited her brother, or she went to go do something. When she got home, I'm just sitting there watching TV, and she comes in, and she's like, hey, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And so she goes and drops off her stuff, turns on the light, and she just sees like blood coming down my face. I tried to clean it up in the restroom, but it's still coming down. And so I have I think a towel or something right here, or maybe I'm just sitting there. And she's like, oh my God, what happened to you? And so she's tired of it. She drops me off at the hospital.
Nope, she calls me.
Oh no, yeah, that's right.
She called me and I had to, and she told me, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to come and get him and take him to the hospital. He doesn't want to go because of the medical bills, but he needs to go see somebody. So I drive all the way from Hemet, because that's where I was staying, all the way to Whittier, where he was at, take him to the local hospital. And that's when they tell us that he fractured his skull and that...
3 places.
In 3 places.
Yeah.
And that it was pretty serious this time. We were in there for a little while.
We were in there for, I think, overnight. The next morning, they transferred me over to Riverside Medical. So, oh my God, that 1-hour car ride felt like 3 hours.
And from there, and so you can imagine the position that he was in his life. You know, like 3 crashes already. He's barely able to see his babies. Now he's in debt with this truck that he's got, you know, and then couldn't have. And in those moments, it's like he, where to go now? What direction do you go in? You know, I know his efforts in trying to stop drinking, and it was just an addiction. It was strangling him.
By this time, I've been drinking for about 10 years now.
And so when he did come back to stay with our family, I told him, I will come and take you home to Mom's house, but you cannot stay here. We talked about it, you know, like you need to go get some actual help. And so when he came over, he was at the house for a little bit, and then that's when we found a rehab center. You know, it was at a church, the Way World Outreach. And I was able to connect him with some people over there.
We got connected with Artie.
Artie, and you stayed there for about
30 days.
30 days. And they did have a year program, but he felt like
that would have been brutal.
Yeah,
I was losing my mind in there.
Yeah, but 10 years, over 1 year of trying to get your life together, could have made
I was like, I'm going to be 70 years old by the time I get out of this place.
And so he...
forever.
So he did go over there for a little while, and he's been out. And he's been staying at my mom's house, and he's been helping her, and he's been trying to control his drinking on his own. And we've been hearing your life story, and it sounds like a lot. You've been going through a lot.
Yeah.
And we're here talking about advocacy because we're trying to see now, how are you helping yourself? Because I know that this isn't the end of your story yet.
No.
And you haven't achieved the things that you want to achieve yet. I know you're still in the works.
Not even close.
And so in this moment now in your life, where are you mentally, emotionally, physically, and what direction do you want to go in? Like, now you're at a pivotal moment in your life where things are, they got to improve. You got to make a better decision, you know? So we're curious to see like where you're at.
So those 30 days that I spent in the men's home with Artie and all the fellas, about 20 plus people, we would get up 6 in the morning and we would do Bible studies. And they showed me how to do Bible studies like as a group and then as my own, on my own. So as a group in the morning, we would do that. And then a small group, when we get back from working for the church, at the church, we would do like group up in little tiny groups like, hey man, you like want to study on what we went through at church today? So it was two separate Bible studies and then our own at the end. So there were pretty much 3 a day. So that kind of taught me, like, doing those 3, and then at the very end of the night, I would do my own. So I would do a little bit of my own, like reading, and then I would start writing every single day about how my day went. So I would take an hour or so to like kind of reflect on how my day went, what were my thoughts during the day, and kind of just at the very end of the page, just write my own thoughts down, how I kind of personally feel about my life. Like, man, everything that I did, all the decisions I made to get to where I'm at right now. And it really definitely feels like I'm starting from scratch. I've got nothing but a mom and a dog and God. So trying to stay positive is very difficult when everything was stripped from you twice. Oh, I forgot to mention, girlfriend number 2, we got pregnant, we lost the baby. So we were both depressed all over again. And 2 people are in a relationship, both are depressed because they lost something that they really wanted to work hard for. It kind of like strips you of your pride.
And that was before your scooter accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The first one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go on.
So when I'm at mom's house, there's a lot of like reflection time. When I'm out watering the plants, we have a garden, we have like roses and stuff. So, and that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of your time for like self-reflection, because you want to put your efforts into something else so that it can grow. Mm-hmm. Like the 2 families that I lost. I put a lot of my time into all of those 2 families in order to help them grow. Now it's just a garden. I mean, I'm feeding mom too. We're both cooking at home. I'm feeding Cujo. I'm cooking with him, but trying to grow tomatoes, jalapenos, habaneros, squash, onions, like you name it. I'm growing all that stuff at home. I'm trying to make sure that the grass is cut, the hedges are trimmed, the house is clean. I'm focusing on working on kind of like a routine. And I used to have a routine when I was working at Geek Squad, and I was starting like the early stages of starting my family, because I need that in my life. I like a little bit of excitement in between, and I guess that's why I started drinking and having that like, yeah, I can beat this, I got this, like this will give me something. But that's a negative part of excitement that I need between my routine stages. So right now it's like, okay, wake up, get ready, start watering the plants first thing in the morning, and then go make breakfast. Try to like look for a couple jobs again. I've been putting in applications for the past 6 months since I've been in mom's house. Okay. Looking for a job over here in Hemet is very hard.
But I mean, I think that touches on advocacy. I know I say that word a lot, advocacy, yeah. But this is definitely the corner to be talking about something like that, exactly. And I know he is putting in applications. He is, doing the best that he can to help. Even like, because he lives at a senior center with my mom. Well, not a senior center, a senior living center with mobile homes. Yeah. He's been even helping, getting paid a little bit here and there to be doing the people's yards and stuff like that for the elderly and stuff. So we're seeing him, the beginning stages of him advocating for himself. And mind you, my brother has gone to AA, and he has. He for a moment was doing so well.
I've been in and out of AA. It started here in Hemet, and then when I went back with Karina, I did go back with her, and for a few months just to try and retry something, and then that's when I did something else, and they didn't. Oh, that was the kid thing. Like she was like, nope, that's it. Get your stuff again and get out. So like I was saying, we're seeing him at the beginning stages of him starting over and advocating for himself again for the 3rd time. And if his story is something that you guys are interested in and want to hear more about and see where he's at in another 6 months or whatever we may be, if you're willing to come back on, if everybody's interested in hearing about it, you can write in the comments. We'll be able to get an update if you guys are interested in an update. So like I said,
we'll be able to see the journey of him becoming the man that he's intended to be. And through patience and through advocacy and routine, that's something that we did talk about in Richard's podcast, is routine. That is what makes a difference. And it's hard. And in those moments of having to do the routine is when people become discouraged, or they feel like this isn't working. When we don't get that quick gratification is when people tend to fall off of their upward path. Is there any last words you want to say before we head out?
Sure. I would say, just for the heck of it, whether you believe it in or not, a couple of things. Whether you believe in it or not, this is the first thing because I put them first. If you can't sleep, just pray. Pray until you fall asleep, and then if you fall asleep, that is your amen. Try to get enough sleep, because good sleep is healthy for a good routine. You don't wake up feeling groggy. You don't fall asleep at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Oh, I got to get up at 6 now. 2 hours a day? I used to do that a lot. Sometimes I would go 2 or 3 days with no sleep because I was so depressed. And so I just started thinking like, you know what? Forget it. If I do nighttime Bible studies, that's fine. And then I get on the video games and I'm like, why am I doing this at 12 at night? You know, so I'm like, okay, start Bible studies at 8. Start trying to get to sleep by like 9, 10. And if I can't fall asleep, I just start talking to God, and then it really, really does help me sleep. So definitely like 6 to 8 hours of sleep is very healthy for the rest of your day the next day. You'll feel motivated and energized.
And then one more question, a question that we ask a lot of people who are trying to advocate for themselves or find in themselves the strength to continue, to persevere, to keep on. What inside of you motivates you to keep trying one more day?
I want the whole podcast. I want my family back. That's it. I pray that God gives me the strength to give me my family back, at least to see them more often and move closer to them. I already lost them a couple of times. I don't want to lose anybody else.
Yeah. Okay, well, we thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And I hope, everybody watching can, be able to relate to him. Maybe it's not alcoholism, but maybe it could be all other things. It could be drugs. It could be any other addiction that somebody may be. It could just be not having motivation to get up and make the better decisions for your life and stuff like that. But it could be even us holding us back because of fear of our disability. We may feel like our disability won't allow us to make those decisions because people told us we can't, or this option's not going to work. You could be that person that's trying to get the help you need from, the system. You're trying to go to IHSS. You're trying to go to the welfare office. You're trying to get your benefits. You're trying to do this stuff, and they're telling you no. And that can be so discouraging. But we're here in this advocacy corner to be on your side, to be those people that say that we're on your team. And I just thank you all for watching. And I thank Jose for being here with us. And like, comment, and subscribe. And we appreciate you all for joining us. And we hope to see you on the next one.
Bye, everybody.